How's everybody doing on this beautiful Monday morning? I'm just checking something real quick. Mods, if you could do me a favor and check the mod chat um for the instructions that I gave regarding picking one of the final four. Where did I send that? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So do. Erica, can you take Jordan Paul? Is Erica here? Somebody, I'm sorry, guys. You guys did do it. When you guys see Erica, somebody let me know. Okay. All right. Welcome in. If you are a member of the team, hit the daily heart me. If not, if you enjoy what you hear, hit the daily heart me. It lets TikTok know that there is something here to enjoy on a regular basis. Secondarily, gifts are appreciated, not expected, not necessary. Let's see, what else? Oh, as I change the photo, each time I change the photo, what I ask is that you double tap the screen so that for two reasons. We get to keep the live here. We don't have to restart, go to another account, etc. And so that we end up on the For You feed so that other people who may be at risk of getting taken advantage of can hear what we're talking about. So double tap until you see the heart, continue to tap until you see the heart's tail, fill the heart's tail, and then take a break. If you would like to tap after that, please be my guest and do so. Also, if you're not sure what to type, apparently doing a hashtag FYP or FYF actually helps boost you. Y'all want to do that, fine. If not, I'm not concerned. We've been doing it the same way for many months, and I'm comfortable with that. So who are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Skylin Pookie and her beef with Boo Bear, which finally, we're going to talk about Laura, or Lo, as she's better known. We're going to talk about Caitlyn and her lie. Introducing you to West Indian Mommy. You might not be aware of her. And then I would be remiss to not talk about Crawford Land. I have beefs with him on many, many levels. And I actually did a video because he upset me so bad, which I very rarely do. Then we have Caitlyn, or Kat, as she goes on TikTok. How could I not do Sheena? And then we're going to do Black God because, again, he's another liar that is taking advantage of women. And women, any attention from a man is better than none. I'd rather have none than spend my money on a man who, A, is never going to meet me, never going to see me, won't want me. He's going to want somebody that's right there. But I guess as long as you get attention from any man, that's good. I'm sorry. Sorry. Not for me. I do have a very quick raising the consciousness. I have an announcement about the Final Four, because remember that this Saturday is the Digital After Dark, where we're going to talk about the Final Four and their mods and enablers. So remember, I gave you guys some homework that I need you to help us out with, and that's to jot down the mods and the enablers you see, and then when I get to my announcement, I will tell you what to do with that information. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. That's the goal. You know what, Darlene? He is going to be more and more and more outrageous as the money slows down. That's all. He's disgusting. Okay, so who do I want to start with this morning? I'm going to start with Pookie. So now, let me say something. There are actually 2 Pookies on here. And they actually look similar. This is My Name is Pookie. There's another woman whose name is Pookie. And I can't tell if she's in the hospital or not, or in some type of facility, but I believe she is a mother of a few children, but she isn't with her. Risa changed her account name, and I know what it is. I can't tell you. I can't remember in this moment. But because she changed her name, I've had difficulty finding her. Yes, everybody tap, tap, tap until you feel the heart's tail, and then take a break. You have to forgive me if I'm a little slow this morning. My allergies were really, really bad this weekend. And when I did wake up, I wasn't feeling my best. So bear with me this morning. I might be a little scattered. So, Pookie, well, My Name is Pookie is up here because she has had an issue with Boo Bear. Yep, that was White Sox. He's in the kitchen complaining about what I don't know. Thank you, Sweet Sassy. We appreciate you too and what you're doing, giving people a place to go watch. I thank you for that. So she got on last night, and can I just tell y'all, there are certain days and times where they don't give us a break. It is like one after the other after the other. And then there's 4 on simultaneously. It is impossible sometimes to feel like you can keep up. But she got on mad. Now, just a few days ago, Angel Girly, which I'm going to go back and forth so people know who I'm talking about. This is what used to be Boo Bear, and now she goes by Angel Girly. Angel Girly was right in there, pumping her up, telling her not to worry about quote-unquote awareness people, keep doing what she's doing, blah, blah. Oh, no problem, Erica. Erica, can you go to the mod chat? Read what I request, and the only person left is Jordan Paul. Don't worry, Erica. We need sleep. That's necessary. You know you don't have to apologize for that. Okay. So, apparently, I don't know what fallout happened between the two of them, and because I was too busy, I couldn't even go and see if I could find where they fell apart. It doesn't really matter. They have fallen apart. And Boo Bear, who asks for money on a regular basis, sometimes it's just, oh, I need $20 for drinks and this, that, and the third. decided that not only was she going to target Maggie, but she was going to target Pookie. And what Boo Bear said, according to Pookie, was that Pookie was nasty looking and begging. And that offended Pookie. It would probably offend me too. Now, would I care about a Boo Bear? Absolutely not. But they like to talk about how we do all of these destructive things. Well, a girl within your community, on your side of the aisle, had a lot to say. And you didn't like it. And so now, instead of focusing on us, you focused on her. So she unblocked. I guess they had some sort of falling out because she blocked Boo Bear. And then yesterday or last evening was like, I unblocked her because I want her to come in here to confront her and blah, blah, blah. And then what was hilarious to me was when she's like, I'm going to take this down here. And it was the sticker asking for $100 for a coat and shoes. And she was like, I'm just going to do an Amazon wish list. How is that different? Is it different because when people buy the actual shoes and coat, they can say, I actually bought the shoes and coat, versus giving you $100 cash? But you are still asking for the same thing as if you don't work, etc. Now, my problem is, if there's something extra you need, why not go to your boss and say, can I pick up a couple of extra hours? Because I need to buy a coat and shoes before the winter starts. No. It is so much easier to come to the TikTok ATM, and even if you put the $100 up there every day for a couple of hours, somebody somewhere is going to send you a few dollars and a few more dollars and a few more dollars. It might take weeks, but it's easier than asking to have to work for a couple of extra hours for a few weeks. And then apparently Boo Bear doxed her address. So that's what y'all are doing to each other now? That's what we're doing now? We're doxing each other? Now, I'm going to talk about Boo Bear for a second because, girl, what are we doing? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let everybody know. I don't know. Did you see when I went in that box on Friday? That guy's box
Which guy?
to. Well, I was trying to give him resources, and come to find out, somebody told me to check my TikTok message. The guy was a sex offender, and he ended up with me, Scammer Upper, and a couple others. That same day, he took his account down. Thomas Todd, yes.
No, I never heard of him. So
Oh
is
yeah,
his account down?
yeah. His account's gone, but
Oh,
awareness does work, and he's a level 3. Yeah, it was bad. It
oh
was bad.
wow. Hopefully I can find a video of it somewhere.
But
The one thing I can say is that they usually come back just in a different account. But that is amazing. Fantastic job.
I just want to say
Because
awareness, and that's what awareness does is we work together and we don't bully. I just didn't know. I was over there trying to give him resources, and he actually let me in his box, and it was weird. I was like, oh my gosh, but Oh, you have videos, Risa? Okay. Um, can you message me after, Risa? But yes, I just want to say, yeah, awareness was coming in left and right. But yes, awareness does work.
Awesome. I'm very
Okay.
happy. That makes my soul happy.
Oh, I was so glad it was that he's gone. But thank you.
Thank you. Risa, can you email them to me as well? My email, for anybody who doesn't know, is digitaldeceivershadow@gmail.com. I literally try to make everything easy so that people could find me. So the YouTube is Digital Deceiver Shadow, all one word. The email is the same. Instagram is the same. TikTok is the same. So I really did try to make it easier for everybody. So please, if you can email me the videos, I would appreciate it. And I congratulate the community because yes, we collaborate. We share information, we share resources, we share like intel on the people. I love it when it works. I used to say awareness always wins. We just have to be patient and consistent. Now I guess I should say anti-scam always wins. But whatever, it still stands. Thank you, Erica. So, Boo Bear doxed her address, according to Pookie. I haven't seen any evidence of it, but I'm just going off of what she said. And of course, we know they're liars, so who knows? But she didn't stop there. She said that she has let the people who live on the second floor know that people might be showing up. And because she lives alone, that makes her nervous. And I can understand that. Which, again, if Boo Bear did dox her location, girl, what if you lived alone and someone revealed your address? How would you feel? But again, when people get in their feelings, they're willing to go to the gutter. But if somebody does it to them, they are innocent, and why would somebody do it? That's why I don't even do it for people who I find to be deplorable, because I wouldn't want it to happen to me. Right? So, and Boo Bear is married. She has a man in the household at night. Pookie does not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking up for Pookie, but I'm just saying there's right and there's wrong, and that's wrong. As if Boo Bear has anything to talk. However, she said she told the neighbor, and apparently this neighbor is pretty good. Her name is Pookie. Oh, what is this? TC, I am an anti-scam creator where I talk about the people who are manipulating, lying, begging, and scamming people out of their money on social media. So they are using technology, which is the digital, to deceive people out of their funds, resources, money, etc., which is the deceiver. And I lurk in the shadows and I watch, and then I come to my live 3 mornings a week and talk about them for two reasons. A, so that I can let the community know what's happening with them and they can share it with their followers. Two, to get it out there so that other people who may be taken advantage of can see it before they are. And three is to let the scammer, beggar, liar themselves know that we are watching. And hopefully encourage them to either get a job or avail themselves of resources, and or just stop lying. Just stop lying. And while it takes a long time and while it's not always effective, I keep pushing, because I don't know if you were just here, but they were able to get a level 3 ex offender off the app. Yes, Moon Dance, they're very convincing. And when you are an honest hearted, kind um, individual, and when you see somebody else on the app and they're crying, or they have their kids in the camera, or they're talking about how hard life is, of course you feel it's natural. Now you can tell who's a scammer for a fact. And that's why I try to do 6 to 9 in the morning, so that people can start to develop the pattern. They start to see, as soon as you see somebody's CA in their bio, you stop a moment. Now, not everybody who has a CA in their bio is a manipulator, scammer, beggar, etc. That is not like the beginning and the end. That's just a clue. If they come on every day and need money every day, and yet there's no conversation about getting a job. When I get to Skylin, I'm going to talk about this, but my question to Skylin is, you have stuff to say about how to get through today, which, okay, fair. But when somebody asks you, what's your long-term plan, there's silence. If you intend to get out of your situation, you have to have a dual mind. Okay, I got to survive today, but what do I need to do today so that in a week I'm in a better situation? Once they get comfortable living on what the British would call the breadline, where you are willing to live at the bare minimum at the expense of, as you are the expense for other people, you stop thinking about, okay, what's my next step? Their next step is to come online the next day and ask for more money. And it's often like they're waiting for a silver platter to be presented. Anyway, back to Pookie. So not only did she say she talked to her neighbor, she also talked to her landlord. Because according to her, people are already knocking on her door, ringing the doorbell, whatever, in a weird way. Now, sometimes it could just be kids in the neighborhood. I remember back in the day, what was it? Something in Dash, where they would knock on the door or whatever, and then nobody would be there. But nowadays, that's sketchy. Then she said that a friend of hers was giving her an American Bully boy dog. Now, she was smart to say that the woman has agreed to take care of the dog's medical needs so she can have the dog. Because y'all know how I feel. If you need help eating, if you need help buying your necessities, why would you add a dog to the mix? And girl, you barely get out the chair. You gonna take the dog for a walk? That might be beneficial. That she would have to get up every day and take a dog for a walk. That may work out for her. But so you think that this woman is going to pay the medical expenses of this dog throughout its entire life that she has no access to? I don't know about that. I could see her doing the initial shots. Apparently the dog has already been neutered, spayed, whichever one it is. It's a boy American Bully. But this is the other, and according to her, her landlord already said it was okay. However, did you tell him what the dog was? Because a lot of insurance companies have expectations. They want to know if there is a dog, quote unquote, dangerous on the property, because the insurance will go up. Do you have apartment renters insurance? Have you let them know you're going to get this kind of a dog? See, people jump into things without knowing the consequences. But we'll see. We'll see. I guess she was trying to send the message to Boo Bear. Right. Dog food will be on the Amazon wish list. Right. We already got a coat and winter shoes for somebody that lives in a climate where winter comes and goes. You need other people to buy you shoes. And let's be clear, she slipped up and was like, I need new. And then she was like, shoes. Girl, we all know you got a coat and shoes from last winter. You're not fooling anybody. It's not like you moved from Hawaii to Seattle or Chicago and you just had no winter clothes. You've been living there for years. Right. She did do that. She first asked for $40 for food. And when it was clear to her she wasn't going to get it, she was like, well, can somebody just send me 20 and I'll go to the Dollar Tree? So did you need the 40 or did you want the 40? Or when you realized you weren't going to get it, that you just asked for the 20? Again, where is the effort to ask for more hours? Where is the effort to find a job where you could make more money or have more hours and then earn more? It's never that. It's come to the TikTok ATM. And it is why I speak about it 3 mornings a week. Because even when we get ones to go away, there's always a new one right behind them. So let's talk, even though she's not on the list, let's talk about her for a second. Because Boo Bear, you shouldn't have time to dox anybody else or worried about what anybody else is doing while you beg. Because your story now is that, of course, we called and got you and your husband fired. And then you were told you had to be out by Sunday, which was yesterday. Now, I didn't go digging anymore because, like I said, I wasn't feeling the greatest and my regular scammers were doing their thing. But did you find somewhere to go? Oh no, berries. Listen. They should be besties. Right, Schindler? Now, let me say something. When I heard about that, I was like, that's odd. Because her husband's been working there for a really, really long time. Like, he has an established reputation there. So one phone call shouldn't have gotten him fired. Right? Even a series of phone calls. If you have a manager with any depth, they would realize, like, you've been good all this time and now people who aren't even staying here are complaining. Like, yeah, I don't want to hear it. But she did something that I could absolutely see being a problem. So one day she came on and discussed how her neighbor, who I believe also works at the motel, his mother passed away. She fell in the shower and she was grabbing for something to hold on to. She grabbed the shower curtain. The shower curtain wrapped around her and she hit her head and she passed away, unfortunately. And of course, she was living with her son. So, and I don't know if he's the one who found her, but probably. And so I feel really bad. Now, first she said that she stayed with him all night, but then said that the owner or manager stayed with him all night. Bouvier, you don't have enough kindness in your heart to stay there for more than an hour or two. There's no way you stayed all night. But then you came to the app, told the story, and immediately started saying, if you send anything on my Cash App, I'll make sure it goes to them. And when people were like, well, what are the arrangements? What's going to happen? She didn't have a clue. Good morning. So why in the world are you already asking people on TikTok to start sending in money when you don't have a clue about what's going to happen? Then she says, I know there was no life insurance. Well, I think there wasn't any life insurance. Girl, if that man wanted to do a GoFundMe or a fundraiser of some kind to bury his mother, let him do that. And then if you want to share that on your account, fine. But why are you constantly begging for someone else's unfortunate circumstances, but sending the money to you? Why didn't you get his CA or his PP or his VMO and say, I'm going to go to my audience and give out your information if anybody wants to help? No, it's send it to her. And then later on, she was like, well, the manager, owner, whatever it is going to help him out. So again, why are you asking? Really, Harley? So could it be that the manager found out that you were trying to get money based on someone else's tragedy and he felt like that was beyond the pale and he let you go? Because I would let you go under them circumstances for sure. You would be out of here. Now, I don't have any evidence. I haven't spoken to the manager. I don't know. And of course, she would never tell that truth. But it wasn't because one or two or three people called and complained about something when they've never stayed there before. That wasn't it. So, did she find a place to go? Does anybody know? Okay, Robin. Thank you. While Robin is here, Robin, I appreciate you being here. Let's switch gears for a second, because Robin is here, and I appreciate her being here. Where are we? Let's talk about one of our latest and greatest, Skylin. So Skylin's story is that she was with a man who was in a DV situation. He took her to meet his family, and according to her, he promised her like marriage and family and a life. Now, I've been in a DV situation. Many of us have been in a DV situation. And you do think that over time, you can make it better. The facts bear out that it usually takes someone 7 times to even leave for good. Some people leave and come back, leave and come back. However, back in the day, it was treated like it was a normal occurrence in relationships. So the police wouldn't get involved. And when they realized that so many people were losing their lives and that if they had just intervened, it would make a difference, that is where we are as a society. We are also at the place where there are DV shelters from here to next year. Now, are resources getting tight? Of course they are. But at least you can make some phone calls. At least you can try to work something out where you can get away. But no, she went to Louisiana to see his family. And then according to her, he drove her to her hometown and dropped it off with her 2 dogs and just left her there. Why would he drive you all the way to Utah from Louisiana? just to leave you. And according to her, he left her to go back with his ex-girlfriend. Again, if you have no family, friends, no resources there, why would he drive you from Louisiana to Utah just to go back to Louisiana to be with an ex-girlfriend? Oh, Robin, but let me ask you this. I have two cats. They are my babies. I shouldn't say my. They are our babies, right? I wouldn't want to get rid of them for anything. But if I truly love them and they were sleeping outside, being able to feed them is the flip of a coin based on someone else's finances. Would it be better for me to rehome them, even if it's temporary, so I can get myself together? Why should the dogs have to live like that? See, they keep things like that to make the excuse about why they can't do what any other normal person would do. If you can't feed yourself, how are you feeding those animals on a regular basis? So she had her mod, of course, Misty Thompson, because I got y'all. Good morning, Princess. I got you, Misty. Misty is in the chat begging for $72 so that Skylink can have a hotel room. Now, it's already getting cold in Utah. So, I want you to calculate something, though. If people sent $72 a day, that's $504 a week. That's $2,016 for the month and $24,200 for the year. What? And that's if the hotel doesn't have like an upcharge for the weekends or an upcharge for something else. That's if it's straight 72 every day. Why should TikTok take care of her to the tune of $24,000 a year? Oh, thank you, Robin. So let me just tell you what happened. Robin has a home that she only goes to every other weekend. And she offered it to Skylin. And Skylin is like, private message me. And y'all know how we do. I reached out to Robin and I was like, listen, ooh, your kindness is commendable. We need more people like you in the world. But please be careful. I've seen this too many times where people think that they are truly helping someone in need. They offer them things and then they turn around and spit in your face. They stay there and the next thing you know, the boyfriend arrives. The next thing you know, they're like, well, you said I could stay here until I got on my feet, but getting on their feet never happens. So I was like, listen, I can't tell you what to do, but just make sure you have some tight paperwork. Tight, tight, tight. How long she can stay, how long she can go without paying, what your payment expectation is, that nobody can move in there, nobody's allowed on the premises. Just have some tight paperwork. I can't tell you not to do it. But if you are going to do it, please be careful. Look at how many times Christina was given the opportunity and then she shows up with her boyfriend and they don't do anything. They don't even do the basics of what they're asked for. And then when they're asked to leave, they then turn around and make the homeowner look like the asshole. If you aren't willing to sacrifice for your own progress, why should anybody else? Right, hippie hardly too. Squatters' rights is a real thing, which is why a lot of hotels, you can only stay there for 28 days and then you gotta go. And you gotta go for a period of time. What is it, 72 hours, and then you could come back? Because then people are like, well, I've lived here for 30 days. I got mail here. I can stay. And if you let them stay that long, you then have to take them to court and evict them. And you know they'll come up with 50 things. And as far back as the courts are with taking care of those things, you can have somebody living in your house for 6 months to a year, not paying you a dime. And you have to maintain the utilities while they're there. There was a couple on here who hired a nanny. She was also supposed to cook for them, etc. She moved in and they immediately got a vibe. But they felt like they liked her, the kids liked her, whatever. Next thing you know, when they were like, well, we need you to do this, that, and the third, she was like, no. But she had already moved in. She was already living in the bedroom for the nanny. I don't know if they ever got her out. I'm sure they did at some point, but the last time I saw about the story, she was still there and wouldn't leave. And they couldn't just change the locks and put her out. It was against the law. So, Robin, I appreciate you even reading my message, because so many people think that we're just there to be vile and mean and we talk about the worst things. No, your kindness is admirable. More people in the world need to have that level of kindness. But please, at least protect yourself. Because when you ask Skylin what are her plans, she has none other than to ask you for the $72 to put her in a hotel room. She purchased a longboard with what money? And now she's rubbing on it like it's her job. Really, happy-go-lucky? I am so sorry, but don't you dare give up. Don't you dare give up. I almost ended up in that situation. Almost. And I had put all her stuff outside, and the police told me I had to bring it all right back in. I was like, dang. I'm like, she hasn't paid any rent? Don't matter. She's been here for 30 days. Dana, I don't ever believe there was an engagement. They had conversation about being a family and having a family and all of that. That's her story. That's her story. And she already has mods begging for her. When I first saw her, obviously I had a natural empathy. She stays at a park a lot of the day, and apparently she fishes there too. People gave her money for fishing lures, and guess what? She left them at the convenience store. Ain't that convenient? And it's convenient. She goes between the park to the park bathroom to this convenience store constantly, unless somebody's paid for her to be in a hotel room. My question is, what are you doing? I believe her phone is on because of where she goes. I don't think there's Wi-Fi at a lake. There could be, but in Utah, I doubt it. So is she going to start asking for her phone bill to get paid too? Good morning. When does she describe, I'm going to do this, that, and the third? No, what she dropped on everybody yesterday was that she wished she had a car. Okay. Yes, a car would be better. But how many of our scammers have cars and then as soon as it gets too hot, they need a hotel room? As soon as it starts to get cold, they need a hotel room. So the car only means that you have somewhere to sit that people can't put you out of. But then if you get the car, how are we paying insurance and registration? Well, I should say registration and then insurance every month. But she wishes she had a car. Right, Crystal? Even Tim and Angela, they have the car. How much did they say over the summer, when it cools down, we won't have a problem staying in the car? Why are they still asking every day for money? No, don't you dare, happy go lucky. Don't you dare. Don't let them win. I don't care how much time it takes you. Because they know people give up is why they do it. And then they'll tell their friends and their friends and their friends, go squat and fight every which way to Sunday. Because guess what? At the end of the day, they still get to come and go. I don't care if you fight them and then sell it. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. So, Robin, I so appreciate you coming in here. And I'm so appreciative that you actually, because the message was long. Hold on, I can show y'all. This was the message. I said, that was so kind of you to offer your home. Please be cautious and make sure you have tight paperwork about how long she could stay, how long she can stay rent free, and when and how much you need her to pay. And also that no one else is allowed on the premises. She isn't new to this, and she has never said what she's doing to get out of the situation. She wants her life to be handed to her on a silver platter. I am humbly coming to you because I don't want you to be taken advantage of. But I recognize that you are an adult and you can do what you want with your property/money. However, I've been around a long time and I've seen this go left too many times. Just protect yourself. And again, thank you for your kindness. We need more people. We need more of it in this world, DDS. I wasn't mean. I wasn't nasty. I didn't even tell her, don't do it. I'm just like, if you are going to do it, please be mindful. Because I have seen this happen over and over and over again. Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Where's her photo again? Why am I struggling to... Oh, there we go. Because I'm not used to having this picture up. Robin, thank you. And I appreciate you being here because very often we don't get a response or we never see the people. No, I don't want to battle. And welcome to the right side of the wrong street. Welcome to the community. Welcome in. People like to say we're mean and nasty and we're just out to hurt people. No, we're not. Thank you, Robin. I praise God as well because he literally put it on my heart to tell you. Let me tell you something. There is somebody in your community that you can put eyes on that is a part of an organization that has already been vetted that could use your assistance, where it gives you some guarantees rather than some random person on TikTok. We all want to help. We all want to make life a little bit easier for those less unfortunate, for those less fortunate. I almost said less unfortunate, less fortunate. And that kindness needs to spread to more and more and more people. We just have to be careful. We have to be mindful. We have to recognize that everybody isn't like us. It doesn't matter the package that they in which they look. I saw a story on TikTok just the other day where this woman, she looks like an innocent girl. She worked for like a boys and girls type organization. She had been actually abusing a little girl. The little girl finally came forward. When she was arrested and they went through her digital footprint, they found where she had many, many, many photos of children in these compromising situations. So she was not only the person engaged, but also sharing it to others. And in some of those text messages that they found, or not necessarily text messages, but like message boards or whatever, she was looking forward to having children so she could do it to her own. And the girl that was telling the story showed several pictures of her, and she was like, I know she doesn't look like who would do this, but be mindful of everybody. The package that it comes in doesn't matter. It's still garbage at its core. You saw it, Berries? It was ridiculous. Right, true love. So crying used to move me. It doesn't anymore. Because some of them are such perfect actors that they know. Look at Tim Nash. He can cry on a dime. And even when there are damn near movies put out that show his long history of taking advantage of people, while people were in a live learning about how disgusting he is, lying about being in the military, lying about having cancer, lying about having an amputation, using a maxi pad sticky side down to say that he had a procedure and the hospital ran out of gauze, so they put a maxi pad over the incision point, sticky side down. And while that was going on, he was on his account lying, asking for money. And guess who came back? Miss May with her regular account. And now she's everywhere as Miss May again, because she realized that Hakuna Matata account got busted immediately. So why bother? You might as well be Miss May everywhere. And again, Miss May knows about all of it and she still supports him. And so when Miss May is in there and she's like, oh, please give him a new tent. Oh, please feed him. He really needs it. And he's like, Miss May, tell them that I'm honest. Tell them that I always shows receipts, when she knows that he never does. Now, when Miss May first came along, we all assumed that she just didn't know, and that if she knew, it would make a difference. It didn't. So when you have a Misty Thompson in Sky Lynn's account talking about she just needs $72, please put her in a hotel room. I don't trust you either. Erica, I don't care. Miss May can say whatever she wants about me. She can hate me. I don't care. She is perpetuating a lie that is taking advantage of other people. And she's almost more evil than Tim, in my opinion. Oh, thank you. I'm sure that was Granny Annie. Thank you, love. You know I love that bouquet. To me, she's almost worse than him, because he knows what he's doing. He knows he's doing it for a purpose. What is hers? What is she getting out the deal? Not a single thing, because we know she isn't getting a cut of the money. So why is she doing it? Just so that she could piss off a community of people that are trying to save others? Let me see if I have his picture, because I hate talking about somebody without their picture being up. I know I have it, because we know. Hold on. Oops, hold on. I'm just knocking things over, trying to drink coffee and hold on. Let me see if I have one without all of the stuff in the background. Oh, you know what? Let me go find the regular thing. Here we go. What do any of his mods and people who continue to give him, what are they getting out of the deal? Really, Crystal? So she's in Stud Soldier. You know what? I said to somebody last night, because there was someone else. Oh, goodness, what was her name? Remember Mind Over Matter when we were dealing with Blue Eyes and her nonsense? I spent a long time talking to her. And like, listen, I realize you're trying to be a friend, but back away. Like, this is going to destroy you. And she was like, oh, and she would come over here and watch me and blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Roha. And then she was in other people's lives just recently offering them $5. Correct, Harley. Right. I saw Rose Wilson in some other people's lives as well. And I was saying to them, do they watch us so that they know who to target next? Because it's weird. What do you get off on helping people scam other people out of money? Hey, MLA, I hope you have a great day too. Did that homework get done, miss? Because I saw you was live again last night. That homework better be done. Thank you very much. That's my girl. That's my girl. So, who saw the movie about Tim Nash? When I tell you that was Chef's Kiss, because it went back. It went back a ways. He is stolen valor. He stood on the street talking about how he was a veteran and how and at that point he even had a different kind of cancer. Isn't that adorable? I believe it is on Tim's Reddit page, but I am sure it is posted all over here. He gives this interview and he talks about how him and his, didn't he say his wife were homeless and the only thing they get is from there? Let me tell you something. If he had been an amputee from the war he said he was in, he was hurt, he could have got disability. But it sounded good. It sounded good. And I'm sure they made a lot of money. Do you know that sometimes when the people who are standing on the street asking for change literally walk around the corner and get in their car and go home? So he lied about what cancer he had. He lied about being in the military. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough of a lie? But then he claimed that he had no insurance. If you were a veteran, you could have gone to the VA. And then even in years subsequently, if you couldn't get an appointment within the VA system, they gave you passes so you could see a local doctor in your community. But he would have had insurance. So why did he all of a sudden not have insurance, but he had this cancer that's never been treated officially? So then we move to the point where he has an amputee. He's an amputee now. He literally sat on his leg. Like there's no too low they won't go to prove a point. Remember when well, I shouldn't say when people constantly had to buy his medication before? So the hospital got covered. The doctors got covered from some mysterious grant, but not his medications. And let's not remember, he had a moment where he was working, he had a car, he had a place to stay. He was a completely different person. See, Miss May wasn't around for that. She didn't see what he was like when he wasn't in active addiction like he is now. I'm not saying he wasn't smoking trees or he wasn't having a little good time here and there. I'm not saying that. But he is far worse off now than he was then. I was around long enough to see it. How many tents can you go through? And let's not forget, he has slightly changed the story little by little. Now somebody broke the tent. When he first said it, he was like a little critter broke the zipper and popped the air mattress. How do I know? Because I wrote it down when he said it. Yep, he did OD a while back. Now, if you also remember, he was like, I've been clean for over a year. And now he's saying 7 months. Why? Because people found the arrest record? And we know what was in your possession at the time? They didn't say they found it in the car. They said they found it on him. But he tried to come to TikTok and say, it was in the car, it wasn't mine. Right, no filter. But Miss May is in there convincing people that it's okay. That's why I say there's a part of me that feels like she's actually worse. Nikki is actually worse. The people in Jordan Paul's that are always justifying her. Same with Carrie. What do y'all get out of it? She is, and after what she did to having a senior moment, anybody let her in your circle? Don't. I'm running in the opposite direction. Fantastic, no filter, and you keep going. You keep going. I am proud of you. We saw a marked difference in him too. You keep fighting for yourself. You know what I say? If you are not whole, you cannot be anything to the people around you that you do love and care about. And guess what? Everybody starts at day one. You get to 3.5 years by making sure that you start with day one. So I don't care if someone came in here and said, I've been clean for 12 hours, for 1 day, for 36 hours. You have to start at day one, at minute one. And if you have to be like, I'm a minute clean, I'm 2 minutes clean, whatever. Oh, great, Karina. Anyway, he's not even on the list. But if you have, I'm going to see if I can find the movie somewhere and then repost it so people can go watch it. Hey, we're almost at 100,000 taps. Thank you guys. I know I done changed the picture a lot, but I appreciate you. I'll try to repost it. Awesome, Spot. You have it, Mama Bear? Okay, it's on your page. Let me write that down. Everybody can go to Mama Bear's page. It's funny, Mama Bear, because I heard somebody say Mama Bear the other day, and I was like, is that my Mama Bear? What does nobody say? Awesome, Snow Bunny. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'll make sure that I retweeted it. I mean, retweeted. Lord have mercy. I reposted as well, but Mama Bear has it on her page. It's and whoever did it, thanks to you, it was incredibly well done, and it speaks to who he is as a real person. If everybody, I know I'm all over the place this morning. If everybody retweets it, I don't care if you have 10 followers, 30,000 followers, it'll get out there even further. It happens, Karina, but we had a success in here with Robin and Miss Sky Lynn. So, one at a time, we will take them. And I'm going to ask the same question for every single one of them. What are you doing to get out of your situation? Now, this is a raising the consciousness, but a long time ago, I talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this is what it looks like, okay? Now, it starts with physiological needs. I kept saying that wrong. I'll never forget it again. There's physiological needs: safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Now, in order to move up the triangle, you have to have the spot before it. So in order to think about safety and security, your physiological needs need to be met. Now, every single one of us would like to reach the top. It is in our nature to reach the top. So we have to start at the bottom. Guess what? It doesn't matter where in the world you are, rich or poor, black or white, Asian, you live in the north or the south, you lived on one continent or the other, you live on an island. Every single person starts with the red block. Everyone. Everyone needs it. No matter what. You cannot get to purple. You can't even get to orange until red is met. So, guess what our scammers do? They use physiological needs that everybody knows about to get your money. So we've all been hungry. Like, you wait too long, you miss lunch, you go to bed early, you miss dinner, and you wake up and you're starving. You are driving, there's an accident on the road and it takes you hours. Some of us didn't have food one day and couldn't eat. But even if you were rich, even if you had access to everything, there's a moment in time where even all of your money doesn't prevent you from feeling hungry. The same with thirsty. The same with having a roof over your head. You can be wealthy, but if you get stuck out in the rain, you're stuck out in the rain. You know what it feels like to want shelter, to need clothing, to need sleep even. How many of us have been in a situation where we were so tired, but we couldn't go to sleep for one reason or another? And so scammers use those because they know we all know what it feels like. So when someone comes on the app and they're like, I am hungry, I haven't eaten in 4 days. We ourselves may have never gone 4 days without eating, but we know what it feels like to be hungry. And so if I don't want to be hungry, I don't want to see somebody else be hungry. So I give them the money. Right, Robin. It is a master manipulator. But because we are on the bottom of the rung, it doesn't take much. We already have a connection, a natural understanding that somebody would want to be inside with a roof over their head, that somebody needs food and water. Now, it's really funny. When someone says they need water, we understand it. But when you get a boo bear who's like, I need $20 so I can have something cold to drink, we're like, bitch, you better drink water. Because at a baseline, we know everybody needs water. Do you see how it affects us psychologically depending on which one they ask for? See, they don't have to do a lot for us to connect with them on that basic level because we have all been there. And then when those needs are met, they jump up to safety and security. So, of course, no, I didn't. Can somebody post Melanie's question for me, please? When I start talking like this, Melanie, if I read the chat, I will get distracted. So I tend to not look at it so I don't lose my train of thought. But no, honey, I didn't. Or you can ask it again. I didn't see it. Wait. Oh, I'm gonna get there, baby Melanie. Don't worry. We might go over a little bit, but don't worry. I'm getting there today. Matter of fact, because there are people who have just come in. This is today's grid. Skyland, Pookie, Laura, Caitlin, Weston D. Mommy, Crawford Land, Caitlin, and Sheena and friends. You see that down there? Sheena and friends. And then Black God. Don't worry. I'm going to get there. So when we know that their physiological needs are met, we start asking questions about employment. And what happens when we bring that up? Well, they're focused on their physiological needs. They can't think about that. And how is it, and y'all know this pisses me off, you don't have food, water, or shelter, and yet you are adding to your family? How are you adding to your family when you haven't even maintained your physiological needs? So when I see somebody with 2 dogs that they have to take care of, and they aren't willing to put those dogs in a better situation so they can get out of the situation they're in, how selfish. How selfish that you expect other people to take care of you so you can keep what you want, but you're not willing to sacrifice to get yourself in a better position. But I'm supposed to sacrifice the money in my wallet. Be for real. And I wanted to bring it up because I often reference it, but I haven't brought it to the chat in a very, very long time. So this is what I'm talking about. And as you get up, eventually you get to self-actualization, where you can start thinking about morality and creativity and spontaneity and acceptance and have a purpose and a meaning and an inner potential. You can't get there if you don't know what you're going to eat. Oh, sometimes it happens. Scroll out or close TikTok and come back. The thing that pisses me off is when TikTok starts playing music. Like, where did that music come from? Like, y'all need to get it together. Y'all have all these new rules for us. Fix the basics. How about you do that? By the way, I know the new rules are coming. I kind of have a plan. And we'll see if it works. So keep this in mind. Screenshot it. I'll probably pin it. And just remember That if they aren't willing to sacrifice to get from red to orange, why should you? Renee, if you don't know what you're going to eat today, how much are you really focused on your purpose? Oh, one of the new rules is, you know how I do this like presentation style? You're supposed to not be able to do that anymore come October. Okay, Ashley, I'm sure people who support him do, and those who don't. But it doesn't matter here. If you support him, wear red. Sassy girl, be for real. Okay, Renee. All right. Who do we have next? Okay, let's just talk Black God because it's going to be a second. Now, why is he here? Because he's a beggar scammer like everybody else. He uses the death of his wife, which is a real thing, I believe. But it's just his excuse about for why he is where he is. Sir, you weren't working while you were married. Like, how did her death change everything for you? Now, I understand. Y'all know I lost a husband, and I understand the devastation. I had a son, though. So I would get up every Monday. I would work really hard. I would come home on Friday night and get in the bed and cry all weekend and get up the following Monday morning. I didn't have a choice. Thank you, Roja. I had to take care of my son. But even if you have a period where you lose it all, like you just lose it, your life partner is gone and you didn't foresee life that way, your first reaction isn't to come to social media and say, take care of me. That's not the first thing you do. It strikes me more like she was the breadwinner and he sat around, and when she left, he lost everything. Oh, Pookie, hey girl. Hey girl. Um, I heard about the dog that you're getting. If you can't afford to feed yourself, how are you going to feed this American bully that you're getting? You want to answer me that? When you are asking people for $40 for groceries and then $20 because you go to the Dollar Tree, are you planning on feeding him Gravy Train? Because I heard you mention something about high protein food. That's not cheap. Wait a minute. You said she was going to help you with their medical needs. With his medical needs. He's buying the food too? Because you are adding to your expenses. You, and by the way, is she gonna come over and walk it every day? Because otherwise, that's gonna be you. You're gonna have to get out that chair and take it for a walk, which probably would help you. And I'm not saying that to be mean in any way, shape, or form. My doctor told me to get a big dog and walk it too. But understand something. Just because somebody says they're going to do something doesn't mean that they will. So, what is your plan? And while you're asking everybody else to fund you, have you asked your job for more hours? Like, have you looked for another job? Or are you comfortable where you are and just asking people? It is selfish. It is selfish to get an animal that you're not sure if you can take care of. And by the way, if you have renter's insurance or the homeowner has insurance, somebody better let insurance know that this dog is coming into the house. Well, Pookie, congratulations. I'm glad you did do that. I'm glad you did do that. No, I don't need her to take a box. I don't need her to take a box. For what? I hear everything she has to say in her own. Now, I also want to say this, though. Hold on, guys, because I don't like to talk about something. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, Boo Bear doxing you is 100% unacceptable. I do not approve of that under any circumstances, especially not someone who's begging for money. Like, she has all of the nerve and the gall of I don't even know what. I do not believe in doxing under any circumstance. And I absolutely believe that you should do things to protect yourself. Let me give you one other piece of advice. Maybe call your local police department and let them know too. You let a lot of people know, but not them. Very good. Yes, Pookie is here. Oh yeah, and concurring with what Pete just said, you going into anybody else's life that you think is worse than you to call them out, you don't do that. Because that is being a hypocrite on every level. So you get to determine that what you do isn't wrong, but somebody else doing the same thing at a larger level is wrong? Ma'am, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a Boo Bear thing, and she's getting dragged all over this app for doing so. And remember, Boo Bear may be one thing, but the people who support Maggie are something else. So welcome in, and you can stay because you might learn a thing or two. Okay, so this man is outrageous. He literally will do and say anything. His beard is always tight, mustache always tight. He cares about his appearance because, not necessarily because he just cares about his appearance, but because he is trying to use connections with women who may be alone or just want some attention to give him money. Vicky, I know. She said she wouldn't ask for any money, and then proceeded to ask money in the exact same sentence. Right. Please keep tapping the screen. So, wait a minute. Let me find, because I wrote it down, exactly what I wanted to bring up. Okay, here we go. He came live one time and said that he was essayed and he needed money and how dangerous it was out there. Then he walked around without shirt or pants or shoes and said all of his items were taken. But then the next time I saw him, he had clothes on. But then when he came on at 4 p.m. my time, he doesn't mention any of it. It is all the manipulation. I saw one time where he was like, I'm sick of eating out of the trash. Now, let me tell you something. I believe he's in Vegas, if I'm not wrong. I bet you the trash in Vegas tastes good. I'm not even going to front with you. Because of all the food they create in those hotels. But my thing is this. If you are out there, there are 3 million jobs. It might not be the job you want, but it's a job. Sir. Okay, Pookie. Right. You live in the entertainment mecca of that part of the country. And yet you would rather be on TikTok begging women for money? And then he like I think part of what bothers me is like his arrogance about it. Like I told y'all the other day, I was like, okay, I understand you're in your circumstances. What are you doing to get out of it? And he was like, nobody's talking. I'm like, I'm talking to you. I'm asking you questions. And his response was, you're not saying anything that matters. And then blocked me. So, sir, what are you doing? Because if you think that asking women for money on TikTok is going to put you in a home, you're sadly mistaken. Unless he can convince one to move in. And we've seen how that works. Sean has moved how many times for a woman and still ends up back on TikTok begging for money? You might convince her to come, but are you going to convince her to stay is the question. And then somebody named Maisie said, I see why you're on Digital's radar. I almost fell out. I was cracking up. I was like, facts upon facts. Welcome to the grid on a regular basis. Welcome to the grid. Then he was talking to some other man nearby. And then he started to talk to them about their PayPal and connecting it. And I'm like, are you trying to create a money mule for yourself, sir? No Tim and Angela today. And then if you were essayed and then robbed of your clothes, did you call the police? No mention. We're just reclothed again like it never happened. And then did I see somebody, he stuck his finger in his nose and ate it? There are plenty of people who are hungry. They wouldn't do that online. It's manipulation. And furthermore, Vegas is covered with cameras. Covered with cameras. How they get you in a position where there wasn't any camera? Right, Cindy. He came out the hospital with, I have a stomach condition and there's no cure and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need your help. Rattle, rattle. Apply for Social Security. But, sir, he was in Florida. Whatever, man. Who knows? Because they love to lie. Well, maybe he can meet up with Chef Carl and they can do it together. I don't know. But welcome to the grid, buddy. You're going to be here for a while, I have a feeling. I have a feeling you are going to be here for a while. Now, I know people have different feelings about this, but I'm sorry. Lo may, in fact, be truly ill. She may have something. Hey, thank you guys. If you haven't hit the Daily Heart Me, please do. If you don't know, you're not sure, stick around. And then every time I change the photo, please tap the live until you feel the heart's tail. What do I mean by that? If you tap for a few minutes, for a few seconds, you'll see the heart come up. And then you keep tapping, you'll see what I call a tail. If you hit it 85 times, you'll feel the heart's tail. That's what I ask for. Okay, so when I first saw Lo, I had a great deal of empathy because there literally are people walking around this earth who have illnesses that they don't have a name for or they haven't figured it out. And so what they usually do is they treat the symptoms. But until they know what it is, they figure out where it is in your DNA chain or whatever the case may be, they struggle to actually fix the problem. That is a real thing. I don't even know when Lo got sick enough that she couldn't take care of herself or her children. But when I saw her on live, she was already sick. And at that time, she had oxygen in her face all the time. She was always laying down on her back. Even if she was outside, she was laying on her back. And I didn't think anything of it. I just thought she's ill, and she needs support. And when you are bedbound in that way and you don't have a lot of people coming over, it can feel lonely and alone. And so TikTok is like perfect for that. You can come online, you can meet people, you can connect, whatever. But then Lo started to do things that were off for me. And the last time I talked about her was because she was in the hospital and people were angry that she was there alone without any family. But she looked super duper ill. Her dark eyes seemed darker. She looked jaundiced. But then I kept watching and I noticed that the yellow hue kept moving. And when I asked, what is that yellow hue? Which it could have been the lights above her. It could have been like a thing on her phone. I got muted by one of her mods. Exactly, sweet. And I'm like, what was the problem with me asking that? Unless they knew that she was using it to look worse and they didn't want anybody to point it out. Because wouldn't that be a question for them too? She eventually left that live, ended, and came back. And when she came back, that yellow hue was gone. Right, Cindy? Why is it gone now? Could be Mama G. I don't know. So that immediately set off alarm bells. And I have been feeling uneasy for a while. And I'm watching these people in the chat drag her family. And I'm like, this girl has been sick for a long time. She is still conscious. She knows what she's going through more than anybody else, and she still has a voice. What's the problem? And have you guys forgotten that she gets taken care of, and so do her children, by her parents? So I was in her live the other day. I was watching, I should say. And I'll be honest, I am sick and tired of listening to her rail against her parents and her comment section being her echo chamber. So, when I get sick of something, I eventually say something. And now she knows me as someone who defends her family. Well, no, I don't. Trump Nation, I'm not talking about her health, first of all. Second of all, I serve the Lord. And what I do is within my heart to do. I've been successful because God don't play about me. You see, I don't take advantage of other people. So I'm not talking about her health. I am saying that, in my opinion, you are using your chat to take advantage. And if you find that someone who takes advantage of other people is better than me trying to warn people not to get taken advantage of, my dear, I suggest you pray to whoever you pray to and ask them for forgiveness, because you won't get none around here. Anyway, so somebody asked her, how old are your parents? And she said, it's none of your business. And I understood where they were coming from, because if her parents are older, they have to get her kids to and from school, feed her kids, make sure that the house is maintained. And they have obviously had children, raised them, and intended on a retirement that looked one way, that due to her health has looked like another. My issue is the lack of thankfulness for that. That's my problem. And my problem is people who do not live in that home and only have her side of the story reconfirm that for her over and over and over again, instead of reminding her, girl, what if they weren't there? What would you do? And she's like, the only other option is a nursing home, and that's worse. Or she said, that's more terrifying. She says that their interaction is her maybe getting a meal or two a day. But guess what? She has a boyfriend. Why don't he come over and feed her? Why doesn't he take care of her kids? Make sure they get everywhere they should go. Moon dance, I don't know. Because not too long ago, she was up talking about how she was going to start making pens and this and that and selling them on TikTok. And she had been ordering things from Temu and Shein all this time. With what? No, she's still at her parents' house. But what I'm saying is she has a boyfriend. But then in the same breath, she's like, I'm just laying here to unalive. No, you're not. You're living. Carolyn Smith, she's mad with her parents about everything. Oh no, she won't ask for child support. Ain't that cute? She won't ask for child support. Apparently, she has some sort of a disability because she says that she takes care of her kids. You may financially, but you know how single mothers will be like, yeah, he sends a check, but that's not enough? Hello? Online every day, all day. People sending her money all the time. Correct, Jennifer. And maybe it's because I am a parent, which she is too. And she's like, I would never treat my family like this. But see, like I said in her chat, we don't hear their side of the story. They don't come online like face parents do and defend themselves. They're like, if that's what she wants to do with those people and they want to believe her, believe her. Because guess what? They're busy taking care of her kids. Grammy, I don't know. She claims she does, and she will not take him to court for child support. Ma'am, who does that hurt? Because again, if you pass on, you are leaving it to your parents once yet again to fight for child support from a father that you should have done. But you can go sit outside and talk to your boyfriend. And she eventually got frustrated and ended the live. But if you can come here and talk about them like they're dogs, like they don't care about you, they don't love you, they don't do anything, shouldn't you be able to stand up to some questions about it? She absolutely is doctor shopping. She is looking for a doctor that will finally say such and such. And let's be very clear. When I first saw her and heard her story, I reached out to her and gave her the name of a doctor who is also a journalist out of New York. And I can't remember if it was Netflix or somewhere else. I want to say it was Netflix. And she did a show about people who had these illnesses that went undiagnosed. And it was what she was doing in her column in the newspaper. And so Netflix gave her a show. It was one season long. And she went around and met people who had illnesses undiagnosed. And she used her skills, the money Netflix provided, and expertise from other people to try to help figure it out. And in some people she did, and she was even able to help them get the care. I found her name and information and gave it to Lo. I'm not a gatekeeper. So apparently, people have called the cops to the home many times, and the cops haven't done anything. What are they supposed to do? Tell her parents you got to do what she wants you to do? That's not how it works. But she does know a nursing home would be worse. And she's like, my kids don't come here and sit down with me. Well, those are the kids you raised, ma'am. And at their age, it sounds like they would rather be outside and playing and doing things than sitting there watching their mother deteriorate. Then she talked about how people pretend to be her friends, get her to talk about her circumstances, and then talk about her behind her back. Because usually, when people have any sort of depth, any sort of understanding, and they start talking with each other, things start not adding up. And when things don't add up, then people have questions. And when they start asking her questions, she doesn't want to hear it because she doesn't want to have to explain her decisions, the point she makes. When they start catching her in lies, she doesn't want to hear it. And again, all I said was, has anybody heard her parents' side of the story? Because if they feel like she's putting it on, wouldn't you be sick of it too? If they were in their 70s and now they are responsible for two boys who are, I believe, preteens, imagine that level of activity. You gotta make sure they get to school, get home from school, make sure that they have lunch. If they have after school activities, make sure that gets taken care of. And their father has no interaction. So it is all on them. There are two parent households who are struggling with that. And you put all of that off on your parents, whether you have to or not, and you fail. But then in the same breath, she'll be like, I really appreciate everything they do. No, you don't. Because you, again, need to be the victim. And again, if somebody wants to question me about something, I will stand here and answer it. Now, if I really believe it's none of your business, then I will say that's not pertinent to the conversation. But the age of her parents is pertinent. Because if they're in their 50s, okay. But if they're in their late 60s or 70s, you start to think about how much pressure that must be. Even in their 50s, that's a lot of pressure. Most people don't raise their kids and then expect to have to take care of their grandkids. It happens every day. But again, why wouldn't you take the steps necessary to get your children child support so that your parents could get financial assistance? She says that she pays to live there, as you should. But just a couple of weeks ago, you were showing people where you had ordered all of this stuff so that you could start selling on TikTok. Where'd that go? And for somebody who can't do anything, go anywhere, talk to anybody, where'd the boyfriend come from? And he's local enough. And somebody was like, can you go to his house? And she's like, no. Why not? And I said to her, why do you think social media is a safe place to be? It is not a safe space. You have to have discernment. Just because somebody is nice to you doesn't mean they're your friend. Why are you telling everybody your business? And then when they start questioning things, now they've turned on you. I love how, as long as the person is preaching what you want them to say, you are ace boon coons. But the moment they differ in opinion to you, they're trash. Then you guys were never friends. Because friends are able to differ, to see things differently, and then move on. Like, okay, you see it that way, I see it that way, I see it this way, we can agree to disagree, but I'm not going to throw you in the trash. And so, I feel a way.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Of course you can't, because I wasn't asking you. She can always manage. She listens to everything I say, y'all. I'm telling you. I can't help you with that. I know you can't. I need to turn her down after. I think y'all's buddy is outside, thankfully. Anyway, and I don't mean outside. I mean, I have a deck that is enclosed, or not really a deck, a lanai. I don't know what you call it down here, but it's enclosed. And so he's able to be outside, see the passersby, see the birds and all of that, but he's safe. I got to tell y'all a story about him from like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's hilarious. Anyway, that's my problem. Now, I always put their name in their ad there because don't believe me, go watch them yourself. Yeah, Spot. A catio. That's funny, Mama Bear. So go watch and go see how ungrateful she is. You don't have to
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I'm just gonna turn you off for a minute because you are really in my business. Y'all go watch and see for yourself. See if I'm lying. Uh-oh. Okay, let's do a couple of bowls. Wait. So, hold on. Let's not do that. Let's do this first. Aw. Okay, there we go. So, we have gotten to the final four. As you all know, we had a good time with this. I guess we're going to keep doing it because I think we enjoyed it overall. Did we not? So, we managed to get down to the final four. And so, the homework everybody was given is to find the mods and the enablers, supporters, whatever, that we can invite to the live on the 18th, which is this Saturday at 8 p.m. Write it down. Tell the nosy girl in the corner to remind you. Put it in your calendar, whatever you need to do. And then we're going to invite them along with their scammer and ask them some questions. So, Medina is live. Somebody go over there and find out if she's asking for a hotel room or food. Let me know. So, since you guys have homework, so do the mods. They have been kind enough to assist me with this. Because if I start getting messages from everybody about them, it would be too much. I wouldn't even be able to do anything. So, this is what you're going to do. For everybody that you have for Tim and Angela, I want you to message Sherry. Sherry, can you say hello so that we can pin your name or your @ so people know to come to you? Is she here? Really, Vicky? Hilarious. Hey, disturbed one. Okay, I don't think Sherry's here in this moment. Okay, so disturbed one, let me say something so I can pin it or somebody can pin your comment. Okay, this is disturbed one. Follow her. Wait, did you pick somebody? You didn't even pick anybody. Okay, be a Tim and Angela backup because I have a feeling that's gonna be. Or no, not a Tim and Angela. Be a Gabby backup. Princess, are you here? Okay. Princess, oops, follow her. She is going to be the main Gabby person. So all of her mods, enablers, supporters that you guys have from watching her. Oh, you picked Tim Nash? You sure did. I'm sorry. You sure did. I apologize. Disturbed one is doing Timothy Nash. She needs 23 for the room. She had her whole week paid for, and I never heard her look for a job. Thank you guys. Princess is doing Gabby. Disturbed one is doing Timothy Nash. Sherry is doing Tim and Angela. Has Sherry come back? I know, Spot. She's hiding because she knows people are coming for her for what she just did. The scam she just pulled. And she still doesn't have. Correct, Princess. We sure do. Okay, Sherry is going to do Tim and Angela. She must have stepped out for a second. And Erica, are you here? Erica is going to do Jordan Paul. Okay. This is Erica. Follow her. If you come across enablers, mod supporters for Jordan Paul, send it to Erica. No, you don't contact them. I will. This is just a matter of sending who they are to my moderators. So then when moderators, I can invite them to the live I'm going to have on Saturday night. Because as I'm saying, the mods and enablers, they sit there and they encourage other people to give money. And how can they sit there day after day, week after week, knowing that these people are scamming others, and yet they sit there and support it? Now, out of all of the people that was on the list, I've chosen Carrie, Sheena, and Ziminique. I don't know which one I'm going to do. I'll let that be a surprise. But remember, don't worry. We're going to do this again. And so that the people who made it to this one, unless there is some brand new development, will be off of the list and will focus on the people who are left and anybody new. So, oh, okay, Sherry. There's Sherry. Everybody follow Sherry. Sherry is doing Tim and Angela. That's okay, Sherry. You know how I feel. Real life takes precedence. Yes, she did, Spot. Yes, she did. Claiming that everybody in the house was sick and she really wasn't feeling well and blah, blah, blah. But they need that money, though. They need that money, though. So I think she ordered a bunch of new stuff. Because she even has, like, new placards that she shows the nails on. Girl, you are not fooling anybody. But this is what's funny. Anytime anybody asks her about the nails she has on, she's always like, of course I can make them for you. And it never happens. Never happens. So I'm not sure which of the three I'm going to pick. But we'll see. So that's where we are with the grid. Again, remember, Saturday night, the 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be live. And I will do my best with all of my accounts and the mods to invite all of these people to the 18th. We'll see who actually has the cojones to show up and be willing to answer questions. All right. Now, I've watched her for a minute. She is one of the most arrogant people on this app to then need to beg as well. Hold on, y'all know I'm looking for my notes. So this here young lady that goes by West Indie Mommy. Dang. Listen, I had so many people. Hold on. Okay, goodness, finally. Sorry, this weekend had so many notes. Okay, so she has a video on her page, and that's her name and her West Indie Mommy, where she's begging for money for the rent for her and her kids. Right. She is pregnant by a man she wasn't married to. That would be baby number 3, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently, he is a motivational speaker on this app. Now, she threw him out because she felt like he had a conversation with a person on TikTok. And I brought this to you guys the other day because I was like, as a motivational speaker, I could see him getting messages from people all the time, asking for assistance. If Mr. got upset every time there was a man in my DMs, we'd be over with. Just because somebody is in your DMs does not mean that something inappropriate is going on. And especially when you have somebody like him who provides motivation for other people, it makes sense. Anyway, I think she didn't think he would pack up and go. I think she thought he would fight for her because in her delusional mind, she thinks she is the best thing walking. Now, I say this to not bring any shame to her whatsoever, but she is a star of X-rated materials. All you have to do is Google West Indian Mommy, and her X-rated exploits will be there at the top. Now, what people got to do when they use what they got to get what they want, I don't sit in judgment. I wouldn't do it, but I can't tell anybody else what to do to take care of their livelihood, their family, their children, etc. Do what you got to do. But how can you, when that is your lifestyle, be mad that he had a conversation? She said she doesn't know if they ever met up, if they ever talked on the phone, none of it. But she wasn't putting up with it. While you are what? She said 18 weeks pregnant? So I don't even know if it's 18 weeks. It might be 8 weeks. I don't even know. And she gets online and she rails against him, anybody who sits with him, anybody who follows him. She says that the men are jealous they can't have her, and the women are jealous that we aren't her. Why would I be jealous as a single mother with 3 children? Well, with 2 children, and I'm pregnant with my third, and the man that I had this baby with is off doing him. What is there to be jealous of? And while I was in her live, somebody was like, I've been following you since you did the self-wax video on Facebook. That was her first viral moment. What was she waxing that became viral? Because I can't see waxing your chin or your underarm making you go viral on Facebook. I just don't see it. Really, Cindy? See, that's what I love about this community. Because I could say 2 things and then, right, exactly, meow. We all learn so much by being together. Well, let me just tell you about this photo. So she was doing her railing, and either people were reporting her, which I doubt. There wasn't enough people in there to report her. But I think like her Wi-Fi went out or something. And literally this was the photo. Like this is where it got stuck. Right here. And I snapped a screenshot expecting her to come back. And she didn't. And I think I said in the comments something like, you gotta love when Wi-Fi, like when the Wi-Fi goes out or something like that. This one was easy to get. Right. Right. So literally people are in the comments like she just talking to herself, because there wouldn't even be anybody in the comments talking about him. And she would be like, I see y'all be over there with him boosting his head up, and then you come over here just to hear what I got to talk about so you could go back and tell him and blah, and you guys are jealous and this and that. And I'm like, girl, we asking you, what are you doing to get your rent paid? And you railing about some man. Most of us don't even know who she's talking about. So, no, it's not paranoid. It's manipulation. What she's trying to do is make everybody mad at this man and either go at him about taking care of her or giving her money because of solidarity. Like, think about Morgan when she did the random man in Atlanta. Literally, her entire life changed. She claims she got fired. I think she quit because she started making so much money on TikTok. And then what did she do? She got right back with him. They split up again. She was creating this new life for her and her daughter. And what did she do? Go right back to him. And now, last I saw, they were broken up again, but who knows now? But people rally around her because they understood. And then especially when people found out who he was and how many kids he had left behind and whatever, people rallied around her. But she had the look, she had the personality, so she went viral with the random man in Atlanta. And then, of course, he went viral because he announced himself as the random man in Atlanta. I think that's what she was hoping, that she could create another viral moment. But girl, you are continuing to make piss poor decisions. Morgan had a baby by somebody she loved when she was young and dumb. And people could have empathy for that. You're 3 baby deep now. Princess Peach, let me tell you something. I swear there are days that, or I should say hours in the day, where my TV is either on mute or off because the TikTok streets have. It's because guess what? You know, reality TV is scripted, right? They'll make you go out and walk back in to make the shot better. Not TikTok. TikTok is what TikTok is, period. It is reality, or at least the reality they let us see. So y'all watch her, because I bring it here so that you guys can go find them, and you can add to the conversation. Right, real reality. Sweets, facts. Facts. Right. But yeah, if you just happen to type West Indian, like, why would you use the same name on social media that again, because you want all of the attention, good and bad. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. So keep on, boo. Now, let's do the second one. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, this is sensitive for me because I don't just not like what he does on TikTok. I despise him as an individual. Hey, All For One. And when people want to say to me that I'm a race baiter, or that I'm focused too much on race, or that racism is over, I give you specimen number 3010. So he lives with a woman that looks young. I have no idea how old she is, but she looks very, very, very young. Now, it could just be that she has great genes. I don't know. But it is also extremely clear that he is in charge. At their hotel room, of course, because, what happened in the comments? He's in control of their hotel room because, of course, neither of them have a job. Of course not. He's a man full of all of these ideas, but he doesn't have shit. So he goes live and he begs for money, and he does like impressions of people, which, okay, you can make money doing that. And you can start on TikTok, social media. A lot of people started their career on social media. But then he does these videos where he spouts out a bunch of nonsense. And one video in particular, which at the time had been his latest video, it is not any longer, but it remains there. And I have asked people not to report it, but to share it. Because the more people who actually hear who he is as a person, the better. Why hide his disgusting views? Let him out, because then we know exactly who he is when he comes around the corner. Reporting it and getting it taken down only mums him. It allows him to become somebody brand new when it's gone. I don't want that. I want it amplified. So, Grand Rising. So he does this monologue where he talks about, what was it, Anglo erasure? And he's like, not enough people are talking about it. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And he talks about how Black people specifically learned language, culture, swagger, how to cook, how to dress, how to act at church from white people. Now, let's just start with language. Sir, we had a language before you came and got us. What do you mean we learned language? Do you think that we didn't communicate with each other on our own land in Africa? We had mathematics, agriculture, society. We had kings and queens. We had military. We had all of those things. Guess what we also had? Cleanliness. That's one of the things we taught you, and we're still teaching you that now. You had the plague. We taught you cleanliness. Your society that you think is all powerful, all knowing. So that's language. Culture, we had a culture. You took us from our culture, stripped us of our culture. We weren't even allowed to keep the names we were given as children. So what were we supposed to do? We weren't allowed to pray to the gods we prayed to at home. We weren't allowed to use our traditional names. We were given a new God and a new religion to worship. What do you mean? You taught us how to drive around in Cadillacs. Is that what you consider Anglo culture? And what I want you to do is I want you to go through a day, a week even, without using a single creation of somebody of color. Don't do it. None of it. That means you can't eat ranch dressing because that was developed by a Black man. The light, internet, any number of things that you use on a daily basis. But he called it Anglo erasure. He said that they taught us to wear bonnets. They taught us to wear big hats in church. Is that the culture you're referring to? Is that all you have? That they like spice, that they can dance, they walk with swagger, they have charisma. Some do and some don't, and that doesn't matter what race you are. But like I said under his comment section, you would take money from a Black person if they offered it. And then he tries to cover it all by saying, I appreciate that they've taken our culture and run with it. But what I don't like is when they take our culture and then pretend like it was theirs, that they started it. Really? What happened to it all being American culture? What happened to that? But to make it sound like people of color did not provide anything to the culture, to who we are as a society, is insulting. Somebody said last night or the night before last, that he sounded like, not Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Jones, the one that convinced all those people to go to Guyana and then they all drank the Kool-Aid. They weren't wrong. Correct spot. Everyone here has brought something that makes America what it is. How much food do we eat from what we would consider a foreign nation? We're eating Thai food, food from Nigeria, Asian food, and it's very different between Korean, Japanese, and Chinese food. We're eating more Mexican food than anything, South American food. I'll tell you what, I'd rather eat all of that than what than what Sheena produced the other day. If you go to her page and look at her latest video with the food that they boiled, that I didn't even see salt. Forget about it. It was the blandest food I have ever seen in my life. You couldn't pay me to eat that food. It was carrots, cabbage, potatoes. The meat looked crazy. It didn't even look cooked all the way. Like, I mean, not even pepper. Girl, where is the flavor for the food? Yeah, the main boil, you can keep it. I'll take a seafood boil, and I don't even eat seafood, over that. I did see the leftover. Y'all gotta go see that video and look at that food. Yuck. So, sir, I am going to pull your file every chance I get. You have welcomed yourself to a permanent spot on the grid. Because I want to see you gone. Because I want to see your views stuck in the hotel room you're in with that young lady. Like, no more that you should be on TikTok. And of course, TikTok finds absolutely no violations. Of course not. But if I type black in the comment section, I get filtered. Ain't that cute? Greasy Spoon, I'm not even sure if it is daily, but they're in a hotel room and they need other people to pay for it. Sir, with ideas like that, may I suggest, and wait a minute, there were people in the comment section urging him on, telling him he should run for office. And you want to tell me it's over, that we should let it go? And if we let it go and people like him and others like him end up in charge of our government, what do you suggest I say then? Or will you say I should have spoken up when he was just a small TikTok creator? Can't have it both ways. It is where we are in 2025. And I will tell you my thought pattern about it. When you are at the bottom of the rung, whether it be financially, emotionally, physically, often what people will do is that they will find somebody that they consider worse off than them and kick them down to make themselves feel better. And that's what I feel like he is. I feel like he hasn't made a single thing of his life, but at least he's not black. Like, he will take this very humble lifestyle, but it's still better than being black. While there are tons of black people who have moved past you, sir, you are a blip on the radar. Now, are there black people in his circumstance? Of course they are. And when they blame society or quote unquote white people for their circumstance, my question is always, well, what have you done to get out of it? I ask that every time. There's circumstances that brought you there. There's decisions you made that brought you there. My question is, what are you doing to get out of it? And just expecting TikTok to pay your way is not going to work. Especially when you have no entertainment quality to yourself whatsoever. Social media is not going to fix your life overnight when you have nothing to offer. And sir, what you offer, I'm going to make sure that I amplify so that enough people know about you that you coming on TikTok is the last thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning. So welcome to the grid. Is there a thing with Timothy's? I have a nephew named. Is there something with Timothy's on this app? Now we got Tim Crawford, Tim Nash, Tim and Angela. Like, what is up with the Timothys on TikTok? But it'll just be another one. And like I said, don't take my word for it. I want you to go to his page, watch the video, and comment on it. And let the people know that agree with him that they are deplorable as well. He is, the both of them are. And try to watch the live to get a look at the young lady. And I say that facetiously because I'm not sure if she's a lady or not. What I do know is she's young. So that's on that. Dang, we probably gonna go over, y'all. Guys, I realize that she's washed, rinsed, and repeat. But we need to go back to amplifying just how bad she is. She is on Tim Nash's level. There is no way she's not using rugs. I can say that confidently. So it was $20 every day, every time you turned around, right? And when people started to recognize the $20, she's changed it to $11. Well, let's not forget that if she is still living where she was before, she lives in the household with a rug dealer, self-proclaimed rug dealer. So it's not like she has to travel far to get it. But she does have to pay something. It's not for free. And it is probably easier to get to 11 than it does to 20. But people over and over and over again have said they gave her the money and she came back and asked for more. And if they said something, they got blocked. Now, yesterday, she showed, and wait, do I have it? I don't know. I do. Dang it. Let me see. Bear with me for a second. She had this message up. Let me find a better one. Let me see if I have the bottom. Dang, I didn't get the bottom of any of them. Anyway, she had this message up where it was supposed to be a manager who said, please find a way to get there. If not, I will have no choice but to let you go. Now, up at the top, it has what the reactions can be. At the bottom, it said copy or delete. Good morning. Now, I went to she has an iPhone. I went to my iPhone and I typed it in. I highlighted it so that I could see the reactions at the top. But at the bottom, it didn't have those same options. It had other options, but not just those two. I went to where somebody sent me a message, and I didn't have those two options that looked like that. So I believe that this was found, made up, whatever the case may be, but it wasn't real. For that, she said that the manager wasn't there. She claims she never got her check because she never got the money to get there. I know that's a lie. If you are that far at risk of getting let go, they didn't call you. And initially she said she had to be there by 1:30. Well, we were late into the evening, way past 1:30, and she was still asking for it. So I reached out to God's Plan, who was her mod, to say, ma'am, if you are as godly as you are, I didn't say that, of course, but this is what I'm thinking. You are running down the wrong rabbit hole. You are accepting the role as a money mule because she said you can send it to me and I'll send it to her. Well, apparently she got so many messages that she said to me she decided not to help her anymore. Like, she's like, she's like, of all the people I mod for, I've never had this much. I'm done. I'm out. So I'm like, great. Turns out God's love is everywhere with a lot of scammers. So I just think that she got a lot of heat for this one and she took off. Again, what we do works. It may take time. It may require patience and consistency. But guess what? She's now no longer a mod for her and no longer will be a money mule. At least that's what she said. So the fact that she messes with other scammers, we'll get to her there too. But at least she's not doing it for Kat. Because there's no way, unless you've had no experience with anybody who's ever been on rugs, and I did have that experience. I dated someone that I didn't know was on rugs because I didn't know what it looked like. I had a very sheltered childhood. And even as an adult, I wasn't around people who did rugs. It wasn't my scene. I was busy working and partying and taking care of my son. And when I was partying, I mean at the club, actually dancing. I don't mean partying in somebody's bedroom with music and a needle. That's not the kind of partying I was doing. So, guys, I understand that we like to watch, but use a burner or two and warn people. Oh, perfect. Is it Mikasa? 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 Great. Go look on Nookie's page. Amy, I haven't been looking at messages because it's been a lot, but I will check. Okay. Please be patient with me, guys. I have TikTok messages, emails, Instagram messages. I probably have messages other places I haven't even looked at yet. Is it Mish or yeah, Mish 2.0? That is why we're doing a call out of the enablers, the mods, etc. on this Saturday night at 8 p.m. They make it possible. Correct. Correct, crocheter. I've gotten messages from Kat on some of my burners. Can you help me out? Really, Vicky? When was Medina doing that? Is that when she said she got kicked out again? Hilarious. Hey, Mama Bear. Welcome back in. So anyway, that's it on that. Because we need to get... We're going to go over, guys. I'm sorry. We just are. Because Sheena's going to take a minute. So she was back on asking for $5 to $10 to go to the Dollar Tree for food. She let us know she has court on the 30th, and I think that is for her daughter. So she let everybody know she needed the money because her food stamps are permanently shut off. I don't know if it's permanent or if it's shut off because she's no longer in the state. I don't know. I don't trust her words. But then she said she had already been to the food pantry and she can only go there once a month. Listen to the line she said. Wait a minute. Really, bear down. That's illegal to do. Somebody should report it. So this is what she said. She said that she lost her food stamps because this was punishment from CPS so that her daughter could get medical. Kinda. Excuse me? Buying food stamps from somebody is illegal. They do spot. Wait a minute. So CPS took your food stamps away to punish you so that your daughter could get medical? First of all, one has nothing to do with the other. I could see them taking it away from you because you are no longer in that state, which then opens up food stamps for another needy family. So that's A. But punishment? Right, Daisy May, but she didn't say they took it away to give it to the people who had her. She said it was punishment and it was for her daughter. I don't want to say her daughter's name. That it was for her daughter's medical. One has nothing to do with the other. They don't take X away from you so that your daughter can get Y. So why are you so quick and eager to lie to your audience? People who may not have any experience with social services, so they don't know. But that also tells you she was still utilizing the food stamps she was getting from her former state to buy food stamps where she's been. So now that you don't have food stamps, what do you offer that household, man? What do you offer them? Because the only thing you've brought them is animals. And she also said that when animal control showed up and looked at the animals, they said that they were fine, but that she couldn't pick up any more because she didn't realize that she would be responsible for taking them to the vet. What? Correct. I don't want to say your name wrong. Minsky. You are correct. 2 different agencies. You didn't know you would be responsible for taking them to the vet? Hey, fuck it. What do you mean? What planet are you on? So now she's not going to pick up any more strays. But my thing is this. You still don't have the money to take care of the strays you still have. What do you mean? And you want me to believe that they came and saw the dog with the broken nose and didn't take it? If they did, they would be just as bad as Georgia's CPS system. I don't know if you saw, but there was a report that came out that gave the Georgia Department of Child Protective Services an F. They're understaffed. They're not paying attention. So now we know why all those people in Georgia that got a phone call to their CPS office, now we know why nothing happened. Well, AP baby, sweet sassy, she's streaming. So does having a senior moment. And always, I suggest this for anybody that's new. Get a burner. Don't use, yes, there she goes, sweet sassy. Hold on, I'm gonna pin her comment. Follow her. She will stream them. Have a burner. Don't use your real account for this. My real account is separated from all of this. I use that account to watch dogs and babies and cats and funny stuff and some serious stuff, don't get me wrong. But I've tried to keep it away from this. Have a burner. Have more than one if you need to. I have multiple. Because like I say, blocking somebody for me is symbolic. I'm still going to watch. And you can watch from the outside, guys. If you go to the search bar and you type in their and you either hit top, user, or live, sometimes you can watch them from outside. Now, I know there's a way to turn that off so that people have to come into the live. But if you have the opportunity to watch from the outside, watch from the outside. I know sometimes I'm tempted to go in because they start talking to a comment and I want to see it. But you'll get over it. Correct, Kelly Givens. That is very true. They will. She says she still has scabies and she needs $30 to get the cream. But then her man in the background said they had cream. So why do you need more? And then she said, a lot of people have ruined TikTok for her. No, you use TikTok in the wrong way, and now it's coming to bite you in the ass. That's all. We saw you, what you did to your child. We saw you afterwards. We saw you show up in this man's house and create even more chaos for your followers. We watched it all happen, ma'am. We ruined TikTok for you? No, you ruined TikTok for you. Okay. Let's get to the woman of the hour. Miss Empire herself. And her friends. Let's not forget. So you guys are going to have to bear with me because this story goes all over the place. And it's so much that I had to push other people to Wednesday just to get all of this in, and I'm still going to go over it. Real picture, she was talking to her husband, and I just hit Snapchat. Real picture. Just from a live. No AI here. So on Friday, post live, her husband asked her to make a schedule. Yes, please tap, tap, tap. And Sheena, if you're watching, hello. I know you do that sometimes. You get up early with your people and have coffee. And someone tells you, you're on the grid. And then someone comes back and tells you, she's talking about you. Well, hello, I'm here. And any of her friends who are watching or ex-friends, we tried to tell you who she was. You chose to believe her, and now look at it. Anyway, so her husband asked her to make a schedule. And one of it was that he wanted her, like, go ahead, get up in the morning, do your coffee with the birds and talking and blah, blah, blah. It's all just a setup. To go all morning, take a break, have lunch, take a nap, get up, get back on TikTok, but then get off when he gets home so that when he's bitching about work, nobody can hear it. And then after dinner or supper, I think she called it, she can come back online until midnight because of course she has to work on keeping that fragment and then go to bed with him and start all over. And when someone was like, I could never be with anybody that asked me to do that, she's like, well, I'm married and I'm going to listen to my husband. And if that's what he wants me to do, I don't see a problem with it. Like, we work 50-50, which makes total sense to me. Of course, you should take your significant other's opinion about a circumstance into consideration. Of course. That's how you maintain a healthy relationship, is that each person gets to describe and explain and express how they feel, and the other person should take it seriously. But then in the same breath, Sheena was like, I don't like schedules or a routine, which is why I don't have a real job. What? That's why you don't like having a real job? But I'm going to jump ahead for a moment because last night she said that doing this TikTok thing is her job. Her job is to be an entertainer. An entertainer where? And make to be an entertainer and make a little extra money for her family. Entertainer where? Make a little extra money? Girl, you made enough money last year that you probably beat people with a full-time salary in certain states. $43,000. Well, let's take off 5,000. So let's say in a year's time, she made $38,000 by cleaning her own house, by cooking her own meals, by being mean and nasty and critical and demanding and manipulative. That's not entertaining. By making people feel like if they don't gift you, they're not your real friends. That's not entertainment. Turning your back to the camera and washing your dishes and folding your laundry is not entertainment. And don't get me wrong, there are people who do cleaning videos and talk about it on this app that is entertaining. There are people who cook on this app and it's entertaining. You know who I love to watch? You know the Amish woman that has the Amish cookbook and she shows you how to make things the Amish way? Entertaining. The really little girl, I think everybody calls her Tiny or Teeny or something, that cooks on this app? Entertaining. Lavina, exactly. The woman is a black woman, and I swear, everywhere she goes, if she goes on a hotel room, if she goes on a cruise ship, she's cleaning. Entertaining. And even when you know it's set up, the black girl, you can tell, I shouldn't say girl, woman, she clearly poured some, here's Kira. Come on, I guess it's your turn. You can't lay on the notebook, man. Oh, so now you're going to complain because I moved the notebook? Your father is Amish? Yeah, Jamie. She literally poured spices in her spice drawer so that she could show how she cleans her spice drawer. Yet and still, it was entertaining. They said hi. They hear you complaining and running your pie hole. Why don't you go outside with your brother? So, what you do is not entertaining. Okay, let's go back. So, you just finished going off on somebody about how you needed to listen to your husband, and then literally in the next breath said, I don't like schedules and routines. I like to do my own thing. But let me tell you what's rude about her own thing. She will say, wait, what did you say? I love when we can hear White Sox purring the other day. Oh, thank you, Spot. It's funny because y'all could hear it louder than I could. When I looked back at the video, I was like, wow, that was loud. But it was because of all of the background noise here, I could barely hear it. So my thing is this. Let me tell you why it's rude. Because a schedule would allow the same 30 people who gift her over and over again the ability to know the schedule. The ability to say, well, okay, at 12 o'clock, I know I can get off, I could eat lunch, I could take a nap. I know that she's going to end at midnight, so I can go to bed at midnight. No, what she expects is that when she pops up, everybody shows up, especially the mods. How was that fair to them? They don't know if you're going to be on at 5 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening. You could tell them I'm going to take a nap and 2 minutes later come back and say never mind. And you not only expect them to be there, you expect them to throw. You get up at 5 something in the morning because your husband gets up and you expect them to be there. And at the same time, they didn't get to go to bed until after 1 a.m. because you expected them to be there. How fair is that? How considerate is that? But she's not. It's all phony. She tells her mods, keep me going, encourage me. If I say I'm going to be there, be there. And now she's claiming that they were bullying her, that she had to answer to them, that they made her say things a certain way and act a certain way, because the way you do it is destructive. That's why. They were trying to help your stupid ass. But like everybody else, when you don't do what she wants you to do, you're cut off. When they were yelling, screaming, hooping, and hollering and cursing other people out on your behalf, they were cool. You let them go wild. You let them go off. But the moment they needed to address you and your behavior, they became the bad guy. Wait a minute, y'all. Let's not forget that when I saw Christy go live not a while ago, but before last week, I said to y'all, I see a split coming. Because I think they are tired of putting in all this effort for somebody else and they get nothing out the deal. And Christy was like, oh, I'm only going to go live when Sherry or the other person I mod for isn't live. And apparently she is dating Armani's son. So, of course, Armani is going to follow Christy everywhere Christy goes, right? And instead of Sherry respecting the fact that Christy is allowed to have her own platform, she felt some type of way about it. She would be like, why is she live? Because, bitch, she can. It's her account. The same way that you tell everybody it's your account and you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, so can Christy. Why does she have to be available for you at all times? But do you see the insidiousness of it all? As long as you are doing what Sherry wants you to do, it's all good. But the moment that you have a mind of your own, you have your own thoughts, you have a difference of opinion, you are trash to her. And then she sat in there and was like, isn't it so nice? Because she got rid of all of her mods at one moment. I'm sorry, I keep saying Sherry. Sheena. I'm sorry. I got teased for doing that. I'm sorry. Sheena. Sheena. Why do I have that Freudian slip? Sheena. The moment somebody doesn't agree with her, you are no longer useful. So she actually had a nerve to say, isn't it so nice without people getting blocked every 2 seconds, without this, that, and the third? They were only following your instructions. You took offense to every little thing that they blocked it, muted it, got it out there so you wouldn't get upset. And now somehow they are wrong. Somehow they became too much. Oh, right. Listen, I love Sherry. And I don't know why it's like when I'm talking to my niece and I say Tallahassee instead of Jacksonville and vice versa. There are just certain things that I confuse in my mind. And that is one of them. But I apologize. You guys know I would never be talking about Sherry in that way. Really, Justine? I wouldn't doubt it. But I apologize. Because, of course, I'm not allowed to make a mistake. I have to be perfect all the time. Anyway, so, Sheena, which is it? Are you going to modify to meet your husband's needs? Or are you going to continue to do what you want to do the way you want to do it? And you got to understand something about that. A lot of people say, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to be able to make my own hours and do my own thing. Let me tell you something about being an entrepreneur. You lose the ability to do all of that because then you are begging people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You are marketing yourself to get business. And if they want you to be there at 2:00, you can't say to them, well, I have something to do. You better be there. The most freeing job is the job where you work for somebody else because you can call them and say, I'm not coming in today and still get paid. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't show up, you don't get money until you get successful enough that you have freedom. But it takes work to get there. How do you think that you can remain successful only doing it the way you want to and not following any rules? Whether it be rules related to how you treat people, how you behave, the natural order of things. Are you paying taxes on this money? Because the IRS has rules. Does she get disability or no? I don't think she does. No. So, when your husband files the family taxes, have you put down every single dime you've gotten from TikTok and then paid those taxes? Because those are rules. Now, I told you very specifically things you could do to help your dog through his grief. I haven't noticed a single change except for the fact that you claim that the vet gave you the wrong date and time, or the secretary at the vet's office, and now it's not till Tuesday. A part of me doesn't even believe that, to be completely honest. I think you said Saturday because you didn't want a whole week to go by as if you weren't doing something. Because even still, you complained about the ride. For someone so deeply concerned, why would the length of the ride even be a consideration? See, people want to look for the big things, and I look at the little things that inform me about who you are as a person. And again, when I went over those things, it was like, spend more time with the dog, love on the dog, take the dog out, have activity. And if you, because you've made a big deal about this dog, want to show that you're doing something, show us that you're doing something. Nothing has changed. Not a single thing. And if you aren't doing it because I was the messenger, how stupid can you be? Then do your own research. Because I'm sure you don't want to be seen listening to what Digital had to say. What's Gigi? I don't know what Gigi means. The dog is crying because it is aching from its loss. Oh, of course, today's Monday. And all I can say is Christy and Armani can hate me from the time when they were mods with her, but be thankful you're out. Because this is only going to get worse, not better. And of course, she would like to blame everything that happens on the people who are no longer there. When they have supported you for months. She absolutely did do her a favor. Let's see. She called her cat an asshole for throwing up after she gave her too many treats. So when Christy went live at the same time she was live, she got mad about it. She starts to try to use her mental illness as an excuse. Well, you guys know I'm mental. Bitch, so are all of us. I have a diagnosis and I still don't act like you. Stop using it as an excuse. If it's that much, then go to a therapist or a psychiatrist and get worked on. Start to change. This idea that I have a mental illness and that's all I need to say is folly to me. Do something to fix it. Right, Erica? But okay. So then when Christy went live with Armani, here came the divide. Moni or Monica, Karina with a C, Mimi, and Caitlin were all ready to jump in there and be like, because she doesn't care. They were all ready to be like, I didn't like them in here anyway. You're gonna have a better life without it. Where was all of this bluster when Christy and Armani was still in there? Why didn't you tell them how they felt when they were in there? And I actually put in the comments, this is cute. Like, oh, this is what we're doing now? Suddenly they were the worst people on the planet. Where was all of this boldness when they were in there? Because I think she got rid of all of her mods. Then her daughter comes in and needs to talk to her, right? The daughter comes in. So she says to the chat, I need to go talk to my daughter. But then she says to her daughter, can I get my fragment first? And even one of her supporters was like, F a fragment. My child comes first. And this is Sheena. She said it was okay. And the woman was like, you asked her, could you get your fragment first? What was she supposed to say? No? If anybody in there is a parent, how can you continue to support her? And so people started sending so she could make sure she could keep the fragment so she could go talk to her daughter. Would she send you what you needed so you could go talk to your child? No. She would tell you she don't got it. Then she said, I'm talking to my daughter, not you. Why would you ask her first if you could keep your fragment? That tells you where her mindset is. You come after I get what I want first. And that doesn't touch every mother or father that is sitting in there saying, I would never do that. TikTok and a fragment would never come before my child. You can get the fragment back. And guess what she said? She said, I'm going to go talk to my child. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, Kevin. So a fragment is this. When you start off on TikTok, you are a D5. Everybody starts there. And the more you're on and the more gifts you get, the higher up in the ranks you get. Now, why that is important is because the higher the rank, the more money you're able to get, the greater percentage. So in D5, it's like you get 30% and TikTok gets 70%. Why are they doing this right now? In A1, I think it's almost reverse if it's not 50-50. So everybody's trying to rise in the ranks because you get to keep more money. But think about it. At one point, she was D5. She brought home $44,000 in a year and a half. That means TikTok walked away with about 70,000. Now, as you rise in the ranks, you get these things called fragments. They're not financial, like they don't mean anything financially, but it indicates what rank you're on. So she's in B rank. She wants to stay a B2. If she gets below 70%, which is the percent, like, so it's like 1 to 100, I want to say. And as long as she stays in the 70th percentile, she stays at a B2. If she loses the fragment, she becomes a B3 or a B4. If she can gain one more fragment, she would be a B1, and she would actually get, I think, another 3% of the gifts. That's what a fragment is. It indicates where you are between B1, B5, A1, A5, you name it, right? Well, Kevin, no. You get a 1099 from TikTok. And then you are supposed to self-report it. But she lost her business by not filing taxes properly. She just said she paid people to send her gifts. We knew that. We knew that. We knew that. Because she wanted people to believe that she had the support. So if she ever gets to a place where she's not going to get the fragment, she will give somebody else to send it to her to make sure she keeps it. She asks her people to unfollow and refollow so that it looks like she gained followers. Perfect, T-Nook. I can't wait for you to put that together. Now, on one hand, you could say, well, she's playing the TikTok game. But the problem is she is doing it on the backs of other people. When she said, I make a little extra money for her family, Does she realize that that's taking the money out of other families' households? She only cares about herself. The loving the people, the caring about them, that is only if she maintains her financial stability. Hold on. Is the noise in the background making it hard for you guys to hear me? Okay. It's bothering the crap out of me. I feel like I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. And he just keeps riding back and forth and back and forth. Oh, it's annoying. And then when people started to talk about, well, why isn't this person here and why isn't that person here? She wasn't like, guys, we'll talk about it later. No, what did she say? She said, stay focused on why we're here. Which is what? To give you money? She said, don't worry about who's not here. It's none of your business. I'm not going to talk about it. Excuse me? Oh, yep. White Sox came inside. You heard him. You are rude for absolutely no reason. You are mean and nasty to the very people who support you, who fund you, who help you take care of your family. I swear, somebody mentioned the house. I swear she's doing it so she can buy a house outright. I promise. That's the goal. Because I told y'all, even the other day when she showed them her Walmart haul, everything was cheap. Everything was the least expensive. Now, that's a good decision long term. But then why are people giving you all of this money? What are you doing with it? And why do people owe it to you? She'll say, I'm not asking, and then turn right around and ask. She says, I'm not begging, and she will turn right around and beg. Sheena, crocheter, at least that would make more sense. I'm not saying don't buy a house. But if you have to do it by being mean and rude to the people who support you, why would they continue? And furthermore, what happens if they all walk away? How will you afford your lifestyle for someone who doesn't want to have a regular schedule, a regular job? Like I said, wouldn't it be kind of her to tell her people, listen, if you want to get up and have coffee in the morning, we'll be available. I'll come on at this time and this time and this time. Some of these women are older. Why do they want to stay up with you until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning? Maybe some people can't get a nap in the middle of the day. But don't not be there, because when she sees you later, she'll be like, where were you? I was expecting you. Bitch, why? Thank you. I have stuff to do in my life too. Oh, she'll be begging for oil. For sure. It's cold. It's the winter. It's my family. I'm the only one that's home all day. And so it has to stay warm all the time. If you went out and got a job too, guess what? Who likes to get up and go to work every day? If all you had to do was stand in front... I'm sorry, Kira. My goodness. I could touch your feet. You're laying on me. Who wouldn't like to stand up in front of a camera and say, I need this gift, this gift, and this gift every day, and get enough to cover your salary? Thank you guys for rising in the ranks. I appreciate it. My problem with Sheena isn't just that she is a battler, which, by the way, she hasn't done in a minute. And in part, I think it's because many of the people she used to battle have gotten sick of it. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. So now people are just giving her gifts for gifting her. And they don't want to end up on the wrong side. But guess what? You telling people to mind their business? Well, cool. All they got to go is go to Christy's live and ask her what happened, and she's going to tell it all. She's battling Becky. You know why? Because she knows she's going to beat Becky. She could beat Becky with one person. I would love to hear Christy's side of the story, though. I would love to hear it. Do you hear me? I'd love to know what really went on behind the scenes when nobody knew what was happening. Wait, what? She knows that no one will go to Becky and throw against her. Exactly. Thank you, Tina. I will be over there to like it, to comment, to save it, and to share it. Absolutely. I hope so too, because that's hilarious. Can you imagine everybody in anti-scam posting that nonsense? A scammer versus a scammer battling. Well, they just adding to the allure of our of our bracket. Thank you. We might have to put them against each other in the next bracket. That's funny, Berries. Well, I've kept you longer than a half hour. Let me say this about the schedule. I'm not sure if I'm coming live Friday. It literally will depend on what happens from Wednesday when I get off until Friday, because I have to prepare for Saturday. And if my allergies stay as bad as they are now, it's going to be a struggle. But I will be here Wednesday morning. Again, unless something happens. I wasn't feeling well last night, and I was like, should I say I'm not coming? And so I held off on posting it, and I got my tail up to do it because I had so much I wanted to say this morning. Thank you, Denise. I will keep that in mind. I appreciate you for saying so. I go to snap a picture and I end up closing the phone. Okay, so thank you guys. Let me just tell y'all, I know I say it and I mean it. You guys are the motivators. I don't want to disappoint y'all. And I know that sometimes I look at certain things a different way and give people a different perspective, and that's my goal. I might see something, hear something, and think about it completely different than you guys have. I appreciate you getting up and waking up. I know some of you guys are on the other side of the country, and getting up with me is long. It's hard. Listen, real life takes precedence always. I will post a live to YouTube. You can watch it then. Please do not feel like if you watch it there that I don't appreciate it. I 100% do. And if you want to, it's Digital Deceiver Shadow, all one word, but two S's, remember. And you can watch it over there. Real life should always come before social media. And I believe that for everybody, mods, supporters, people who hit the Daily Heart Me, people who don't, it doesn't matter. People watching in the window, your life comes before social media. Because social media isn't a safe space. It is here, but it's not everywhere. I want to remind people who are on Medicare and the Affordable Care Act and all of that, regardless of what might be coming down the pike, the time to pick your insurance is coming up. You have a very limited time to pick it. Start doing your research now. Her daughter got a brand new tattoo last night. Well, of course. Other people are funding their household. Why not? Why not? Oh, Kat is live. She's probably looking for her daily $11. What will it say now? I'm going to stay for an extra second. Somebody tell me what Kat is asking for. Kira, can you please make a decision? You're giving me anxiety. Hey, Nana. Ask my people, my daughter, text or call. I'm off this app. Exactly, Nana. $10 to go to court. She had to come up with something new. She couldn't use the job anymore. Come on. Come up with something new all the time. You know what I almost wrote her? Okay, a little bit. I will. What was I going to say? I almost sent her a message and said, well, with all this time, you could have walked there and been there by now. Like, girl. Wait, where was I writing it at? Okay, so this is the homework. Remember, write down enablers, mods that you see, and send them to the appropriate mod here. Now, don't overwhelm them now. They got stuff to do too. And remember, if 50 of y'all are sending them the same 5 mods, relax a little bit. We all are going to need some time. Yes, Erica. So, as I always end, please hug your loved ones because tomorrow isn't promised. Even those that you might be mad with, because you do not want to have an argument or a snide remark or a failed I love you to be the last thing, the last interaction. I look at all of these people who are finally making it to their families in Israel, and I promise it'll be a long time before an annoyance raises to an argument. They are so happy to have their families back. And the same on the Palestinian side. Those that had people arrested are going to be happy to get their family members too. So just remember, not everybody woke up today. So be kind to your loved ones. Be forgiving. The same way you will want forgiveness, forgive them too. And please, if you do nothing else today, please do some form of self-care. Oh, okay, a little bit. I'll go over it again. Yes, I'm going to play a song. So, Princess is doing Gabby from the Twins. Sherry is doing Tim and Angela. Disturbed One is doing Timothy Nash. And Erica is doing Jordan Paul. That's no problem, a little bit. Oh, and there's nothing motivational about Sherry's page at all. I love you all. Please have a fantastic day. We know that the streets are already talking this morning, and we'll be there. So thank you. And if I don't see you on the streets, I will see you Wednesday morning. And I am going to leave us